Right guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video for a Newcastle United season preview for the 2020-21 season. I am joined by the main man, Matty, from the Magpie channel.
Buongiorno.
How's it going?
Good, mate. Aye, good. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad.
A lot better now.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm glad we delayed this preview a week because we were talking about doing it last week, but we were a bit busy.
Aye.
I'm glad we
job.
did. Yeah.
We've been a lot more negative than we
Yeah.
did it last week.
So we're a bit more smiley today. Before we get started, to be fair, if you're not subscribed to the Magpie channel, I will put it down in the description. Great content from Matty on
Very much,
Newcastle.
mate.
So, as we say, we've had a decent week, but the previous weeks hadn't been too great. I mean, we won't dwell on it too long because we're going to be happy this video for a change. But obviously, takeover didn't go through, and then I think most Newcastle fans had pretty much lost faith. We moved into the pre-season. Can we see something a little bit better? Lost 5-1 against Middlesbrough, lost against Stoke, and I'm just thinking,
Can't even fill a bench.
yeah, I'm thinking this is not going to be great. I mean,
No.
I'm assuming at that point you weren't looking forward to the start of the season.
Nah, I was honestly, mate, like it was the worst I've felt ever. To be honest, after the
Yeah.
whole takeover collapse, and then even just heading into that new season with that squad, when we know it was the magic of St. Maximin and the brilliance of Dubravka that kept up last year. We know obviously Dubravka's missing. We'll get on that later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were going to this season until we made these signings with just no hope at all with a guaranteed relegation. I mean, I was looking at the odds of us
Yeah.
going down, and we're bigger favourites than the likes of Leeds United who just came up.
I know.
Which just shows what everyone thinks as well. It's not just us.
I've not looked at it again, but I think Leeds were mid-table finish and we
Aye.
were fourth bottom.
On a good day.
Yeah, same as always, basically. So yeah, wasn't looking good.
No.
And I'll agree with you, mate. To be honest, in terms of the videos on my channel doing Newcastle stuff, I hadn't really posted in a little while because there wasn't anything good to say, and I was sick of crying on camera, so I thought I'd give it a break. But we both posted a video on Monday.
An unexpected video, kind
Yeah.
of. Because, I mean, we did one last week and we said about how pessimistic we were heading into the season, definitely expecting a relegation battle, if not in that relegation battle, bottom three come the end of May and heading toward the championship. And then it comes to Monday, and then obviously now it's Wednesday. We made 3 signs in 2 days. It's just completely changed it around because you can see what pre-season was horrific. We got battered off a championship side in Middlesbrough. We got comfortably beat off another struggling championship side in Stoke. So we were just thinking, what have we got hope for? Yeah, why are we even bothering our time watching Newcastle? If they're not bothering doing anything about the disaster we're in. But to be fair, they now have, and somehow Bruce has managed to convince Mike Ashley to spend money on players over the age of 23, spend money on Premier League proven players. So
Yeah.
it's a welcome change.
It is, and I touched on this in my little video for Wilson and obviously Fraser, and again we'll talk about them a little bit more in a second, but I actually joked on when we were losing against Middlesbrough and Stoke with the players in the back going, if we lose these games, you'll sign someone, because I was just like, I don't know what it was that changed their mind. I'm presuming it was that, wasn't it? It was the fact that
it's got to be Bruce going to Ashley and just, mate, have you been watching any of this? You don't have to. I'll just tell you the result now.
Yeah.
You don't have to even watch it. I'll just tell you what happened. Do you know? I think it was the magnitude of how poor pre-season was, how much of a fight last year was. Even though in the end, obviously, the last couple of weeks were okay. But when we were relying upon a newly fit Dwight Gale,
I know.
looking sharp,
That was why
injured
it was
straight away.
very scary.
With him being out until December. With Muto apparently off to Germany, where he didn't feature anyway.
Yeah.
With Joelinton only scoring 2 goals last year, with Andy Carroll only playing 2 minutes last year.
Yeah.
That's why he's surely went into the market, and I don't know how he's ended up. Maybe because he said, "Look, Mike, to be honest with you, we know Bruce is a good manager and whatnot." He must have. I think he's just been brutally honest with them and just said, "Look, we're going to really struggle this year if we don't sign players that we know can do a job, and we know Wilson, Hendrick, Fraser and Lewis can do a job."
Exactly, and again, I agree with you. You mentioned Leeds before. You know, they went and spent 30 million on that Rodrigo and all this, and I'm sitting there going, it's not getting any better. But we have made the signings, so we are a much happier people. We'll quickly go over them. Wilson, you already mentioned it. He's 28, so we've actually gone out and bought someone older who we may not make a profit on. Who knows if he scores 30 goals?
You never know.
Well, hopefully we won't sell him. Actually, we don't want to make a profit.
That's
on
what
him.
Ashley's thinking.
Yeah.
He's going to have a good year leading up to the Euros. Sell to Spurs next year.
No profit on him. And then Fraser on a free. I think
Unbelievable business.
that is quality. And again, did you see the picture Andy Carroll posted on his Instagram actually with Richie and Wilson? And he goes,
Richie going to Bournemouth.
Yeah. Why Richie go to Bournemouth will bring Bournemouth to Richie. So straight away, there's already a little bit of a group there, and I'm sure I've seen you post it about how they've scored the most goals together in a season ever, over 38 games.
Premier League record with goals combined, Fraser and Wilson. So Brucey's got his job pretty much laid out easy for money. Because he just needs to say, Callum, Ryan, pretend you're in a Bournemouth shirt. Do what you do best, yeah? Crack on.
And if they can get, I mean, and again, Wilson said he scored 8 goals last year and how he'd had a terrible season. If he gets half of them, he's already done better than what we'd done, really. So, yeah, positive, fingers crossed, we'll go with them. And then, we've been shouting for a striker for a long time. We've also been shouting for a left back for just as long a time.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get us wrong, I actually do like Paul Dummett, and as much as I think really he's as much of a centre back as he is a left back, I think he has done a good job. But to actually have some young talent in a left back position is also quite exciting as well.
I have no idea how we've managed to convince Jamal Lewis to come to us, and he's buzzing with it as well, because I was speaking to Flex, the Man United guy, which is the United stand. He's good pals with Jamal, and he says he was on the phone to him last night and he says he's buzzing. He is genuinely buzzing to be here. He wants to be here.
That's great.
So that's good to hear. I think the good thing with these lads we've brought in, they do want to be here. They do want to give it their all, where they're not the likes of, I don't know, a Tovan who's just thinking, right, if I do well at Newcastle, I'll get a bigger move in a year's time. You know, these are players that want to be here, want to play for the black and white shirt. And like you say, Jamal Lewis, a young, exciting prospect.
Yeah.
To come to Newcastle when he was linked with Liverpool in the summer, the Premier League champions, and we managed to lure him in here. So all credit behind the scenes, and hopefully he can kick on his career. Yeah.
That'll be. I mean, I agree with you. I think I think the club and the players have almost matched each other in a way, because we were dying for a striker. Callum Wilson wants to play every game and he wants to try and get into the England squad for the Euros.
Absolutely.
So yes, he might have been able to go somewhere else, but straight away he's competing for a place. He pretty much knows when he arrives here that he's going to be first team. Fraser wants to go on from here, and same with Lewis as well. So yes, happy about that. Moving in to the start of the season, obviously the first game is West Ham. I was going to ask you, what are you thinking starting 11? Because I mean, we're only a few days away from the game going.
Yeah.
Starting off with, let's go midfielders and strikers to start with, and then we'll go into defenders.
I'm praying that Shelby Hayden can string games together this year, because they were in and out last year. But I'm also interested to see how Matty kicks on after surprisingly staying. Yeah. And obviously you've got Jeff Hendrick who's came in, which is another solid signing.
That holding midfield player position's pretty full now, or at least we've got a fair few players who can do it.
A lot of competition now, which is good though.
It is good.
That's why we struggled last year, especially in terms of up front, because there was no pressure on Joelinton to do well.
Yeah.
In terms of he wasn't thinking, oh well, if I don't do well, Wilson's going to jump in, Gale's going to jump in, because nobody was performing. So in midfield, we all blessed in the centre of midfield. I think Brucey will stick to his 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So I think Shelby and Hayden would need as those two get a run of games together. And then the 3 is something we can really get excited about. With Almiron, please play Almiron with number 10, Brucey. And then have St. Max and Fraser either side of Wilson. And then there's options off the bench as well if Matt Ritchie does stay.
Yeah.
Jacob Murphy's here to try and prove a point.
Yeah.
You know, Andy Carroll's been banging them in pre-season. That was one of the good things. He got 2 and 2.
Yeah.
He's looking lively, so keep him fit. Even you can bring Andy Carroll off 20 minutes off the bench is a huge weapon to have in your arsenal. So
agreed.
Honestly, mate, if we keep those kind of players fit, it can be a really good season. It can be something to actually get excited about, which is a welcome change. Like,
I agree, and this is the thing with what was last season was, yes, Joelinton wasn't great, but Almiron, St. Max, these are good players that just needed a little bit more support. Hopefully, we've given them that now, and like you say as well, that you take off St. Max, and no offence to the guy, but Atsu comes on, he's just not as good. And there's no offence to him, and I'm sure he's a great squad player, and it never hurts to have the numbers, to be honest with you, because we struggled a lot last season with numbers. To be able to, if Fraser wants a rest, we'll bring on St. Max or Richie, and as you mentioned, Sean Longstaff, Matty Longstaff, we've got a lot more in there now. And this is the thing that I was going to ask you as well, because I think we'll agree, we're hoping Wilson's going to start against West Ham.
Definitely, there's a record against them.
Great record against West Ham. Joelinton, do you think we'll have a look at the two up top. I like that phrase. Are we gonna look at two up top, or is Joelinton going to be the man to step in for the cup games? Is he forgotten? Is he involved?
I think he's going to be the one that comes on the left hand side of that three behind Wilson, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we all know he's not that number 9 that we've craved he was. He's not a natural goal scorer. He's never in the box to be there to put the ball away. If Fraser was whipping balls, and Joelinton would be nowhere to be seen. It'd be an absolute waste. So I think Joelinton is going to be a squad player in terms of he can get his chance off the bench though. The games are coming thick and fast. You've got to think we've got Blackburn Rovers in the League Cup just a few days after the season opener against West Ham, so that could be a chance for Joey to maybe start, because we don't want to pile the pressure on Wilson, pile all the minutes on him, and then inevitably get him injured.
Yeah.
So it could be a chance for him to shine. I mean, you could look at playing two up top. You could look at Joelinton and Wilson. You never know. Might feed off each other well. You could even put Joey in the number 10 role behind them.
Yeah.
So thankfully, there's a bit of options there for Bruce now.
And I like. The thing is, I know there's a laugh and a joke at Joelinton at times because he hasn't been great, and it has been quite painful to watch at times. But, and I said it in my Wilson video, I don't want to give up on the guy. You look at Almira, his first season was pretty pants as well, and in second season came through a lot better. Hopefully his third's going to get even better again. If Joelinton just take that pressure off the kid for a little bit, let Wilson have some minutes, and again, if we can step into the start of the season and Wilson can grab a few goals straight away, the pressure's off both of them really. Wilson, because he knows he can get his goals in. Joelinton knows that if he does get come on, the pressure's not all lying on him. So, yeah, we're in agreement. Is Wilson fit for the start of the first game?
He is. Wilson,
Nice.
Hendrick, and Lewis are expected to play against West Ham, but Fraser obviously hasn't featured since pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
Because obviously that debate over his Bournemouth contract. But I like to say, I mean, Wilson's been given the number 13 today, hasn't he?
I did see that.
He's not been given the number 9, and I liked it from Callum Wilson where he said I'm here to help the squad, not like detriment it.
Yeah,
in terms
he said
of
some
obviously
great things.
Knocking Joe, he said like, look, our record signing's got the number 9. I don't want to take it away from him. That's got to do well, and hopefully Wilson can teach Joelinton on striker instincts, because Wilson's perfect for what we've been crying out for, mate. 6-yard box specialist and runs at defenders, gets on the end crosses. So hopefully in training can teach Joelinton on a thing or two, because we all want him to do well. Do you know what I mean? We'll hammer him, we'll have a bit of fun with him, but he is a lovely bloke. He's a class bloke.
Yeah, no doubt.
Obviously added the FaceTime thing with him. He was so
Yeah,
sound then.
he did.
He was so sound then. And there's a lot of pressure on the young lad's shoulders coming all the way from Brazil and whatnot. So hopefully, second season, he can kick on.
Agreed. Defence. That wasn't from what I would say, our strongest point was last season with about 400 centre backs and no strikers. We've now got a bit of a strange one in the defence, because Lejeune has been injured obviously for a while. He's now back.
Oh, he's out as well, isn't he?
Well, I was going to say, I seen in the Middlesbrough game he looked like he'd forgotten how to run, to be honest, unfortunately.
Right.
And then he's now been linked to being out. We obviously seen Shaw's decline at the end of last season. In my keeper sell, I said I wanted to keep him because, fair enough, he hasn't been great, but there's no reason he can't come back. But does it look that way at the minute? I'm not 100% sure. So what would you back for? Well, we know Dubravka's injured, isn't he? So what do you reckon? Darlow in goal for the first game, or is it going to be Gillespie?
I mean, it's tough because Darlow's looked poor again for me in pre-season. His positional awareness really worries me.
Yeah.
Every time there's a ball in, he seems to be in no man's land. He doesn't come all the way for the ball. He doesn't stay on his line. It's like he doesn't know what to do. He's a great shot stopper at times.
Yeah.
But I just think his understanding of the game goes missing, and that's where his level of skills goes down. But Gillespie did well in pre-season, but although he has came from the SPL, which I just don't rate at all as a league, so
the only thing I thought was when we brought in Gillespie was, yes, we needed to bring in a third goalkeeper because Rob Elliott was leaving, but the way I saw it was actually that we're almost like upgrading our second choice goalkeeper to bring Gillespie in as number 2. But then from what we've seen so far, I feel like Darlow will probably be the man.
I think so. He was good for winning the championship, so I think Darlow against West Ham, and then perhaps Gillespie in the cup against Blackburn just a few days later,
and see how they do, and then the winner plays Brighton in the next game.
Much, the winner.
Right, and then what would your back four be?
Ooh, see, for me, we've been crying out for a left back for years. In an ideal world, I'd still want another right back brought through the door, because Manquillo for me is a 6 out of 10 at best every week. He does a job. I don't rate DeAndre Ellen. I thought it was appalling the way he carried himself towards the end of the season there, where he just didn't even want to be on the ball.
He wasn't good.
He didn't
Well, it
want to
looked
be
like
on the ball.
I thought he was leaving.
He was meant to be. I don't know. I don't know if we're meant to be against someone else through the door. But the reason Joelinton hasn't left is because we haven't got a replacement in. I don't think we will at this rate.
No.
There's been no rumours of right backs. So for me, you have to stick with Manquillo. Let's say solid, but not like out of this world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Captain Lascelles is always going to play. Fernandez, Iron Man's got to play there.
Yeah, he does.
And then left back Lewis for me. And like you say, a good thing is that Dummett, if he can keep his fitness up, and no one knows the future of Shaw. It looks like Lejeune's out the door.
Yeah.
He's linked with a return with Hoslu at Alves.
Oh really?
That's
well.
where he's meant to be going.
Fair.
And in the sake of Shaw, they're looking at maybe cashing in on him because he's running towards the end of his contract.
Yeah, it was a year left, is it?
And you obviously how bad he was after lockdown. But like you said, I don't know what's happened.
I know,
Shaw played the year before that.
It is really frustrating. I can only hope that they find some form. The thing is, and we've seen it last season, poor Fernandez played a million games in a row. He's 42-year-old or whatever he is. I mean, he was class, so I agree. I would 100% have him in my starting 11. But it was always good to know that we had so many options.
Kieran Clark, mate, is really good as well. He's called upon.
Is he injured at the minute?
He is. He's still carrying a knock.
And I think Dummett is injured as well, isn't he? So again, we do. And again, if players come back, if Dummett comes back, you can't play left back, you can't play centre back. So at least there's a bit of an option there. Do we need a centre back then? Because I remember when we were getting linked with Rob Holding, and I'm thinking, well, what about 6 centre backs? Surely we don't need another one.
This was obviously before we were even linked with a strong bid for Callum Wilson, and I was thinking, are we going to be playing 8-2-1 next year? Like what formation are we playing with all these centre backs? But obviously, if two go out the door, and Shaw and Lejeune, then you've got Fernandez, Lascelles, Dummett, and things. So it's
it's a funny one.
So you've still got 4, but I think Holden would be a solid signing. But it looks like Tata's made a U-turn on that, hasn't he? He doesn't really want to let him grow now, unless they've got a replacement him. But we could maybe still look at getting a centre back on loan, depending on who leaves.
I think a loan would be a nice idea. This is the thing. If let's say Lejeune doesn't go, Shaw doesn't go, and Lejeune is still having issues with the injury, Shaw still doesn't look like he wants to play for. Well, that's the point when we could have done with something.
Because even worse comes to worse, and I don't like to say it, but you could put Hayden there like we did against Stoke.
That's true.
Because like we mentioned before of how blessed we are in centre mid, Hayden could always slot in there if necessary, but at the end of the day, you've got to play out your strengths, and Hayden is at his best in centre of the park.
Fingers crossed, Fernandez, Lascelles play well. Shaw comes back to what he was doing. Clark gets fit, and then hopefully we won't need anyone. And as long as someone's scoring the goals for a change, maybe we won't need to keep as many out.
Don't have to rely on corners and headers like West Ham.
Lascelles' hat trick. And then to finish off, I've just wrote down here. Obviously, West Ham's first game. I'm not going to ask you for a full season prediction because I don't want to drop you in the water. I was just going to ask you. First 5 games, West Ham, Blackburn in the Cup, Brighton, Spurs, Burnley, Man U.
Oh, it gets a bit stinky after the first one, doesn't it?
Well, what are you thinking for the... Well, let's not talk about the Cup. I'm sure the Cup will be fine.
Penalties defeat.
Stick to Premier League. West Ham, Brighton. I mean, those 2 games aren't a bad start, are they?
They're not. No, we're historic for a stinky 0-0 against Brighton.
That's true.
But now we've got to strike up and score goals, so maybe not.
Well,
maybe not.
Yeah. So what you first game, West Ham away. I mean, as I say before Monday, I was not feeling it, but now Wilson likes to score against West Ham. We're feeling it. I think even just a point. I don't want to sound negative Nancy here. I don't want to sound negative, but I think even just a point on the board.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've done something. We've got the ball rolling. We've gone to an away game. Do you reckon we're gonna win it?
I think we're gonna win it. Yeah, I am confident. I agree. A point wouldn't be a worse result.
Yeah.
But I think we can go there and get a win. I do. I think without West Ham's fans being there and being a bit noisy and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think West Ham have had a great summer. I'm surprised they let that Diangana go to West Brom, the £80 million winger, which even the captain Mark Noble tweeted about and said he was raging about it.
Oh wow!
He's a talent. He's a bit like a St. Maximin. Watch out for him. So for me, West Ham, aging squad, players that don't really seem to want to be there. I think it'll be a bit of a goal fest. I do, especially with Darlow and goal for us, with hopefully Wilson up front.
Right, yeah. Goals either end.
I think we'll beat West Ham, and then Brighton might be a draw.
Draw again.
Spurs, I think we'll get beat. Is Burnley away at home? Doesn't really matter. There's no fans.
No, it doesn't.
I think we get beat. We always get beat off Burnley. And Man United, nah, we'll beat them.
Matty will score.
Matty will score.
That's why we signed
Start
him.
Matty.
That's why we brought him back, just to get that goal. So yeah, I agree. I think we can get the ball rolling against West Ham, Brighton, hopefully. And as I say, if Wilson can get a goal, if St. Max can get a goal, it's like we always suffer with this terrible start of the season, and for a change I'd like to have a nice start of the season. And I think a big part of it is just getting the first 1 or 2 games under your belt and just kind of rolling with it. So maybe if we can do something West Ham, Brighton, get the ball rolling. Come on then, you said you wanted to give your prediction for the full season. What are you thinking position wise? You don't have to give maybe what? Are we going to make it top half?
How's the Europa League? Did you think? No, I don't.
Surely not.
11th.
11th,
Which would be, I'd be happy with that. I'd be
Yeah.
really happy with that. Like, another good cup run without bottling it in the quarters this time. You know, a good cup run. Honestly, last week I would have genuinely said 17th or 18th. Genuinely. But these 3 signings are huge. A striker that can score goals, a winger that can assist goals, and a left back that can play in the Premier League.
the way I saw it was, you look at Southampton, I don't think our teams are too dissimilar, but they had Danny Ings.
Danny Ings, mate.
And it made such a big difference.
What was
So
it, 18 goals last year?
a lot of goals.
Without
yeah.
him, they were down and out.
Even if Wilson could have got us 10 this season, or
Even-
even the 8 that he
I
scored for
joke about
Bournemouth.
the Europa League, but if we had Wilson last year,
We had
he got 8
we had
to
a
15 goals.
We had a very outside shot at one point.
Didn't we?
Somehow
Aye.
we did, yeah. Somehow we did. I think
mean, it
about
would have 100%
half the
been-
league did, but we were in it.
It would have been 100% top 10 with Wilson. It would have been about
Yeah.
8th or 9th, really. But other teams have strengthened this year, like Everton. I mean, Leeds are maybe dark horses. So it's going to be tricky, but I think I'll say 11th.
Yeah, the main thing is, as I say, we've got something to be happy about. Fingers crossed the fans are in the stadium soon. I mean,
Hopefully, yeah,
the
it's
news
not
recently
the
doesn't
same.
sound great, but we're on the telly. We've got something to watch again. Fingers crossed it can be a good season after the signings we've made. Let me and Matty know down in the comments what your prediction position-wise for Newcastle is this season. If you don't support Newcastle, let me know where you think your team is going to come as well. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Anytime.
And yeah, fingers crossed against West Ham at the weekend.
You're off to a good start.
Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe to the Magpie channel, subscribe here if you are new. Thanks for watching.